At all times, people have been interested in questions to which there were no intuitive answers. In search of the right path, people increasingly began to turn on their own thoughts and feelings. Especially diligent became to collect and process knowledge and concepts, creating schools and gaining students and followers. Thus was born the mother of all sciences, philosophy. For many centuries, philosophical problems has inspired thinkers from all over the world, leading to development in many fields of nature science and humanities. Let's talk about Greek philosophy, which gave a big push to many other philosophical schools. One of the founders of ancient Greek school of philosophy along with Hellenist and sophists was Pythagoras. According to legend, he traveled a lot, and his teachers were different in outlook and religion people. It is to him that the creation of term philosophy and philosopher is attributed. Modern researchers distinguish two components of teaching of Pythagoras: a scientific approach of the knowledge of the world and religious and mythical way of life. One of the central doctrines of Pythagoras' teaching was metaphysicosis, the belief that the soul is immortal and is transferred to a new body after death. Reincarnation, according to teachings of Pythagoras, could occur in anybody, both human and animal. A lot of his ideas formed the basis of future philosophical research. The next most important philosophical teaching is Platonism. Platonism is the philosophical teaching of Plato and his followers, asserting the absolute reality and ideas the immortality of the soul. The ethical ideas of Platonism is likeness to the God. In terms of attitudes to death, Platonism offers another fundamental idea. The famous Platonic cave embodies the visible world of everyday experience, where people are like prisoners of a cave they build, their assumptions of the base of their illusions. Only by going out into the outside world, into the sphere of being, which consists of eternal forms, they would get a clear idea of the truth. Also, thanks to Plato's work, another doctrine appeared in the future, Neoplatonism. Further, it is worth mentioning several more schools of antiquity. Aristotelianism is a system of thinking which is based on the principle of Aristotle's teaching, especially in the field of personal and social ethics, politics, and the interpretation of human benefits. Aristotle divided the science into three types: theoretical, practical, and productive. Among the first, he included metaphysics, mathematics, and physics. The second is economics, politics, and ethics. We also can recall Epicureanism, the philosophical doctrine based on the ideas of Epicurus, in which the enjoyment of life was considered the highest good. Now we would like to touch on more recent European schools, for example, Renaissance humanism. As the philosophers themselves, adherents of the school said humanism is a combination of virtue and scholarship. Renaissance humanists represented an informal group of like-minded people, distinguished by their internal content, not by their official occupation. Referring to the essence of the term virtue, humanists mentioned Aristotle, who raised the issue in his work. Humanist pays close attention to the study of primary sources, and not the interpretation of them by others. Closer to 20th century, philosophers became more and more interested in human life. Began such trends as existentialism and the philosophy of life appear. The focus gradually shifted from global problems to the problems of man and his life as a whole. Prominent figures of this school are Fyodor Dostoevsky, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Jean-Paul Sartre. Gradually, philosophy began to intertwine the politics. Marxism appeared, in which the problems of the state and society were discussed. In parallel with these trends, logical positivism developed, the ideas of which were in close contact with the ideas of physics and mathematics. Over the centuries, philosophy has changed and evolved, responding to some questions and generating new ones. Many discoveries have become possible thanks to a deep analysis of philosophical concepts. It is much easier to understand why philosophy is needed and what benefits it brings to humanity than to answer the question, what is philosophy? After all, this question is itself philosophical.